Based on the information already given, it is reasonable to conclude our planet, solar system, and universe is not several billion years old, as evolutionists claim, but that its age instead corresponds with a biblical timeline along several thousand years. In addition to these evidences, well-qualified scientists have provided further support for a young Earth and solar system, including the following 20 observations. According to evolutionary theory, the age of modern man began approximately 200,000 years ago when our ancestors left Africa, which means, based on the theory, humans didn't learn how to write or sow seeds for agricultural production for about 195,000 years. This is highly unreasonable, especially when we realize the earliest traces of supposedly primitive ancient man kept astronomical and timekeeping records using mechanical equipment, used chemistry to make cosmetics and pigments, created musical instruments and produced artwork, used tools such as drills, batteries, and steam boilers, practiced metallurgy, electroplating, and dentistry, installed functional stormwater and sanitary sewer systems, as well as public wells and bathing facilities into their city plans, while building impressive ships, statues, and megalithic structures with high-level engineering and mathematical precision we can't duplicate today. Further, the fact that written records from the most ancient known human civilizations, such as the Babylonians, Sumerians, Egyptians, Hittites, Indus Valley culture, Greeks, and Chinese, plus evidence of agricultural production, extends only about 4,300 years ago and not much earlier, corresponds nicely with the biblical timeline of the worldwide flood and spawning of new post-flood civilizations. Books and calculations from early historians such as Manetho, Callisthenes, Manassas, and Eusebius, as well as very old chronologies like the Bamboo Annals, also support the biblical time frame for commencement of the Egyptian, Babylonian, Greek, and Chinese cultures. If modern humans have actually dwelled on Earth for nearly 200,000 years, as evolutionists believe, then this planet would have experienced overpopulation issues long ago. It has been calculated that only 4,000 years would be needed to produce the current world population from one original human couple whose offspring multiplied at a conservative 0.5% annual growth rate. The average annual population growth rate throughout recorded history is an estimated 2%, although this figure may be high. If modern humans have really multiplied for about 200,000 years at the generally accepted 2% growth rate, or even the conservative 0.5% rate, then countless people will now be alive, or at the very least, there should be evidence for the existence of innumerable human graveyards. Using another conservative calculation, if the human population doubled every 150 years, then after only 50,000 years, there would be 10 to the 99th power people on Earth, which is more than all the atoms in the universe. Evolutionists cannot logically explain why such a massive population has apparently never resided upon Earth. In contrast, the fact that only 4,000 years are required at a 0.5% annual growth rate to produce our modern population fits perfectly within the biblical timetable, which declares that a worldwide flood wiped out all humans except Noah and his family about 4,400 years ago. While the Bible's time scale and current world population mesh nicely, the evolutionary timetable is unsupportable. Also, dramatic new mitochondrial DNA research based on actual mutation rates shows all humans originated approximately 6,000 years ago from a single woman called mitochondrial E. Parallel research involving the Y chromosome has revealed every person descended from a single man who also lived about 6,000 years ago. While troubling to evolutionists, this exciting evidence offers support for the historical reality of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden about 6,000 years ago, exactly as presented in the foundational book of Genesis. Also, since multiple secular scientific studies have shown humans accumulate between 75 to 300 new harmful disease-causing mutations per generation, and an estimated several thousand to 1 million mutations are enough to drive humanity to extinction, the maximum time frame we could exist is only 200,000 years, which means mankind would have physically collapsed due to genetic entropy long before the theory's hypothetical ape-like ancestor to human evolution 6 million year timeline elapsed. As one exasperated evolutionist asked, why have we not died 100 times over? It's ironic that mutation, which is supposedly one of evolution's primary engines, when properly understood, actually would become its end given enough time. It seems clear that the human race is actually devolving due to our growing mutation load instead of genetically evolving into something better. While this massive mutation rate is incompatible with evolutionary theory, an approximately 6,000 year biblical timeline for humanity is entirely plausible.